Hi everyone, good morning. Today I'm going to talk about how to avoid toxic relationships. A little bit of a primer on how to date wisely and not get into these situations in the first place. Because if we can prevent this from happening, wonderful. So before I do that, in case you guys don't know who I am, my name is Lindsay O'Brien and I help women heal from toxic relationships so that they can feel free, happy, and empowered to reclaim their lives. So like I do every week, I'm going to give away 4 free discovery sessions. And these sessions are where we go really deep into what you're struggling with, whether it's struggling to heal from one of these difficult relationships or to just simply leave. We go into it in detail and we come up with a plan to help you feel better and to help you move forward. All right, so let's get started. How to avoid a toxic relationship. So the first thing I always recommend people do is to learn what the red flags are for dating. There's lots and lots of them, and if you're curious about some specifics, send me a message and I can send you some resources. But you want to learn what the major warning signs are for getting involved with someone that is difficult or has maybe an abusive personality. And once you see them, you have basically a zero tolerance policy. You end the dating relationship, you don't see this person anymore. Because if you have a history of getting involved with difficult people or being involved in toxic relationships, you have most likely overlooked some red flags, right? Or you've excused them or just didn't pay attention to them. So you want to not do this. This is key here. So decide for yourself that if you see some major red flags, that's the end for you. You're going to move on. You're not going to see this person anymore. This will change the dating dynamic for you. So here's an example. Like if you are someone that is looking for a long-term relationship and someone you've just started seeing or talking to brings up sex right away, that would be a red flag for you. Unless that's what you're looking for, unless you're into that, that's not going to be conducive to developing intimacy over time and creating a long-term relationship. So that would be a red flag for you. So if that happens, you don't second guess yourself. You say, okay, this person is not compatible for me. I'm going to move on. All right. Another example of some red flags are if you're on a date and someone is rude to people, like rude to wait staff, that's a huge one. Pushing you to do something you don't want to do, especially intimacy or sex. If they are drinking too much. So these are some red flags. Like if you see one or more of those very early on in the relationship, no go. Okay, so the second thing I often tell people is to avoid a toxic relationship. You want to become aware of your patterns in relationships and dating. So what I mean by this is become aware of your patterns so you can spot them, you can spot yourself going into them and pull back and redirect. So like for example, ideally you want to do this with a professional, but if you have had a history of toxic relationships or one or more of these difficult, maybe abusive relationships, your brain actually becomes wired to find that familiar and to be continually drawn to people like that are similar to the toxic relationships that you had in the past. So cultivating awareness of your patterns is huge. I actually recommend people to meditate and get some perspective for this reason. Meditation gives you the ability to to pull back from yourself and kind of watch yourself get drawn to similar people. But then when you have the ability to witness it, to watch it, you can stop yourself and say, oh no, I'm getting pulled back into this pattern again. I'm not going to go there this time. I'm going to shift and do something different. So I say, I ideally do this with a professional to help give you that objectivity. But yeah, cultivating awareness is huge in this process. Okay, so then the next thing you want to do to avoid a toxic relationship is to learn what the green flags are, right? Or what healthy relationship behaviors are. We can spend all day long learning red flags, but if we don't know what a good relationship looks like, then it's hard to date too. So some examples of green flags are someone is able to communicate their feelings in a healthy way on a date. Someone that makes you feel comfortable and secure versus insecure and nervous and scared. So you want to learn what those healthy relationship behaviors are so you can start to spot them and say, aha, that is a person that I would like to move forward with. So a lot of people ask me, so what does a good first date look like? So if you have a history of toxic relationships, I caution people to avoid that intense, immediate chemistry. Because like I said before, if you have a history of this in your past, your brain is going to start drawing you to those similar situations. And if it's a match to your previous difficult relationship, it's often going to feel like intense chemistry. It's going to feel like a huge spark. You're going to be like, oh, I found the one. When in actuality, you've probably found someone that's just similar to the partners you've had in the past. And if you're working on healing from a difficult relationship or doing something different, you want to do that pattern differently. So a good first date would be somewhere in the middle. You don't want to have that extreme, intense, love at first sight chemistry, but you also don't want to be completely not attracted to this person. So somewhere in the middle, a date where you had a nice time, you enjoyed this person's company, you felt a connection, but it wasn't anything extreme, and on the high end, and you weren't repulsed on the low end. You would want to have a desire to see this person again, to get to know them. But yeah, no extremes. Extremes on either end are not good indicators of developing a long-term relationship. Okay, so let me see if I have anything else I want to tell you guys. No. Oh, and make sure also on a first date, also make sure there's no blatant red flags. You know, if you're seeing any huge warning signs, not good either. So yes, in the middle, someone who's kind, who you had a good time with, you felt safe and comfortable with, and you're interested in getting to know them a little bit more. You don't have to be instantly attracted to them on the first date. And actually, a healthy attraction develops over time. It's more of like a slow burning experience than an intense, wild passion, love at first sight. Okay, guys, hope this is helpful to you. And if you missed the beginning, I'm offering 4 free discovery sessions this week so we can get you guys back on your feet and feeling better and able to move forward. Okay, guys, talk to you soon.